Max? Welcome everyone to this morning's Community and Sport Committee meeting for July of 2025. Just noting councillors in attendance, we have Councillor Augustine, Deputy Mayor Jonik, Councillor Antonelli, Councillor Martin and Councillor Madden. For apologies, we have apologies, I believe, for Councillor Doyle and Mayor Harding. So I'll move that a leave of absence is granted to them both. I'll seek a seconder for that. Seconded by Councillor Madden. Any discussion on the leave of absence proposed? There being no discussion, I'll put it to the vote. Those in favour? That's unanimous and carried. Ipswich City Council respectfully acknowledges the traditional owners as custodians of the land and waters we share. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging as the keepers of the traditions, customs, cultures and stories of proud people. I'll move on to declarations of interest this morning. Are there any from any of the committee members present? There being no declarations or business outstanding, I'll proceed to the confirmation of minutes for our last Community and Sport meeting. Are there any questions about those minutes? I'll seek a mover for the one recommendation that they be confirmed. Moved by Councillor Augustine, seconded by Councillor Madden. Any discussion on those minutes this morning? There being no discussion, I'll proceed to the vote. Those in favour of adopting? That's unanimous and carried. Item 2 today is our Officer's report on community funding and support allocations status report from 1 April to 30 June 2025. Are there any questions of the relevant officer on that report? There'll be no questions. I'll seek a mover from the floor for the one recommendation. Moved by Councillor Augustine and seconded by Deputy Mayor Jonik. Any discussion this morning? There being no discussion, I'll put the matter to the vote. Those in favour of adopting? That's unanimous and carried. Item 3 this morning is a report regarding the most recent Libraries and Customer Services Advisory Committee meeting, which occurred on the 8th of July 2025. Are there any questions in regards to this report? There being no questions, I'll move that the recommendation be accepted. I'll seek a seconder from the floor. Deputy Mayor Jonik. Just as the chair of that advisory committee, I'll just give everyone an update that we discussed at length the sort of long-term planning that we have to do in the Springfield Library catchment. We've sort of victims of our own success, so to speak. The usage of the Springfield Library has outstripped what was projected for a number of years now, and we're all just looking at best ways to support that community in the future. It's certainly a good problem to have, I think everyone would agree. And secondary to that, we'd had a brief discussion on the tenure arrangements for Redbank Plaza Library, which occurred. That matter went through our earlier Finance and Governance Committee today. Just to brief councillors. Any further discussion today? There being no further discussion, I'll put the matter to the vote. Those in favour of adopting? That's unanimous and carried. Item 4 today is a report for the Sport and Recreation Advisory Committee meeting, which also happened on the 8th of July 2025. Any questions this morning? There being no questions, I'll move that the recommendation be accepted. Is there a seconder on the committee? Councillor Martin. So similarly to the apologies, last report, our Sport and Recreation Advisory Committee discussed what sort of arrangements need to be put in place given that the North Ipswich Reserve project is proceeding ahead and there's an impact on some existing arrangements. We had a good discussion about who currently uses it and what sort of impacts there are. Are there any further discussion from the committee this morning? Councillor Martin?
Go on. No, you had your greenie.
Oh, sorry. With regard to Tartan Track, I'd like to move a motion that a report be prepared to this committee, regarding possible funding options for the proposed Tartan Track. I'd just like to move a motion that we actually seek what possible funding options there are. At the moment, I don't believe it should be an expense incurred by council, and I'd like to seek with some sort of clarity what we get. It's no secret that $7.1 billion is coming to South East Queensland, of which we're not getting a cent. We also have, well, arguably one of the hottest properties in world athletics, certainly the hottest property in Australian athletics in Gout. catching up with Di Shepherd, his coach, this week, and she's made no secret of the fact that she wants to keep Gout here, actually in Ipswich, and train here. And as we all know, at the moment, we have no tartan track facility. So I'd like to expedite the possible funding options and have some sort of commitment from state and federal governments.
Look, I certainly think it's related, but there's an existing report, I believe, going to the Economic and Cultural Development Committee next month, which may or may not contain that information this month.
Yeah, it's a late report to the Economic and Cultural
Today.
Development Committee later this morning or today
Yeah.
to provide an update on where we're at. We probably need some more information before we can make that funding, but we can certainly take that as an action if it does become a resolution of the council in due course.
All right.
advocate.
Well, does that satisfy Councillor Martin? Are you a member of the next committee? Perhaps that discussion's best served there.
That's fine, Councillor. Thank you.
All right. Councillor Augustine?
Oh, sorry, Chair, I just wanted just wanted clarity on something that I'm sorry I should have asked for questions. Just in the next steps for the jets. Yeah, just at the bottom of it, it just said the committee also discussed a future council briefing session on the longer term tenure of Briggs Road. That's from a council's point of view, isn't it? I just wanted to clarify. It was from our tenure of Briggs Road. It's not the tenure of the sporting club that's there.
I believe that's the case when we discussed the matter, because that had been put forward as an alternative for one of the users of the North Ipswich Reserve, but everyone seemed to agree that we would support the existing user of Briggs Road moving forward.
Yeah, I thought it was
But
more...
of course there's a separate tenure issue as council doesn't
Yeah,
own
with
that
the
facility.
Canberra.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is that what they're talking about? Is that what we're talking about in there, about the tenure, or is it the whole lot?
Well, I believe we kind of discussed both, but again,
The whole as a...
yeah, there was agreement from everyone present that the existing user will remain in place, and we don't
Yeah.
entertain any idea of putting someone else there. But of course, it is an ongoing matter to resolve longer term tenure there, given we don't own the facility.
Yeah. Okay, so just as a whole, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Any further discussion this morning? There being no further discussion, I'll put the matter to the vote. Those in favour of adopting? That's unanimous and carried. Item 5 today is a report on the Multicultural Advisory Committee of 10 July 2025. Would you like to move that as the chair of that committee, Councillor Augustine? Yes?
Thank you.
Seek a seconder. Seconded by Councillor Antonelli. Any discussion?
Yeah, just have a
sorry.
matter of clarification, a question if I might. I'm just a bit confused by the report with respect to the terms of reference. Did we actually have an outcome with respect to that recommendation, or is the action the considered outcome from the meeting? So has the terms of reference been adopted? My understanding, and I'm very happy to be corrected on this, and obviously Councillor Augustine, you chaired the meeting, was that we referred it back for some refinement, but
Yeah.
is that correct?
Yeah, because I see there it says like an attachment, but I don't have any attachment. But it was to go back to the general managers and we rework it to come to be presented to the next Multicultural Advisory Committee.
Yeah, I guess I'm just questioning
Worded?
how it's worded there,
Yeah.
because it has the recommendation, of which there wasn't one, but we had an outcome, and the outcome was that we referred it back for some refinement, which is on page 2 of the meeting, but 28 of the report. So I'm just after some clarification on whether that wording needs to change with respect to the minutes of that meeting.
It's a very long sentence as well for an action.
Through you, Chair, are you referencing the recommendation is that the terms of reference as outlined in attachment 1 be adopted, but then underneath the discussion it has an action which isn't the recommendation
And then, yeah, when you turn
necessarily.
the page, it has the formal action. So I'm not sure whether that clears things up or not. I guess I don't want to give the impression that we actually had a recommendation if we didn't have a recommendation on the
Yeah,
day.
well, I don't think we do. There's an action.
I'm looking at you,
Should the recommendation be the action?
sorry?
Or insert another recommendation that arose from the advisory committee, which was that the terms of reference be reviewed and represented to the next multicultural advisory committee through the chair, if you're happy with that.
Yep.
Yeah, or the chair and the chair.
Yeah.
You happy with
Yeah,
that?
I'm happy with
Yeah.
that, yep.
So, yeah, that was
was
that was my point of clarification.
just,
Yeah, it just was confusing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The seconder of this motion, you happy with that amendment as well? I think that was you who's proposed it. All right. Just wait for that to appear on the screen so everyone's up to speed. Apologies, I didn't ask the committee if there are any questions prior to seeking a mover, so that's fine. Or you can chip me if you want. You have 30 seconds. All right, we've got an amendment up on the screen. Everyone's aware of that. I'll go back to discussion. Any discussion on the matter?
No, I'm happy with that. Yeah, makes some sense now.
All right. Would anybody like to discuss the committee then before going to a vote, or? All right. No further discussion. I'll put the matter. Those in favour of adopting the recommendation? That's unanimous and carried. I've got no notices of motion this morning or matters arising. Are there any questions or general business this morning? No questions or general business. Seek some guidance from yourself, Councillor Augustine. Are you happy for the next committee meeting to commence at 11:24? All right, well, I'll declare the meeting closed at 11:14 and the next meeting will start at 11:24. Thank you, everyone.